I'm Max, as always.
I have many identities on the interwebs, but the one I choose today is Yolande.
Now we're gonna rinse our hair and then we're gonna do questions. Back. We have cool gay hair now. Beautiful. So let's start this very official quag.
I'm not exactly sure, in fact, because I have something with gay, queer, whatever culture. It's that I don't know very much about it, and so I don't exactly always know what some names mean. And like queer, okay, I get the sort of great meaning, but I'm not sure I know every subtle thing there is to know about the term, so I don't really have an opinion about it. It's something that seems pretty cool as a label to have, but that's all.
Alright. I sort of agree. Also, I feel like it's a bit awkward for me as a French person to like love it so much. But sometimes when people raise like the difficulty that it's been used against people as like not here, so I feel a bit awkward, but I do like it as a label for myself. Covers all the things and it's very vague. I like it for me, but I understand that some people don't want to use it.
I don't exactly know about gender labels. I tend now to use non-binary, even if I haven't always done. I also use the term panromantic, and the term polyamorous, even if I'm not exactly sure it fits in queer stuff, but it's a label on romantic sexual stuff, so...
Yeah, okay. I feel like I've been through all of the sexuality labels. Like, I used to identify as bi, then as pan. Do not care for the difference people make between the two, and then I was just saying I'm gay, even though it's just like... So, I feel like I either don't want to use a label or like use all of them. But yeah, and gender, I do non-binary as well. I really like the genderqueer flag. I think it looks nice. It's got a cool flag. The definition sort of fits me. But yeah, so all of the labels. I'm in the LGBT. Or no labels. I really don't identify with that narrative of, oh, I always knew. I just, until I was a teenager, it was just very, not too girly, but pretty girly and very into boys. With my hair, which is still now a big part of my queer personality. I did go through a lot of like having really long hair and then immediately after having really short hair. Yeah, I don't know if they were very significant. I don't think they were.
I don't think on my side there was anything much either. At least not gender-wise. I tended to be relatively girly and stuff. Like, well, for me that I had long blonde hair too, and I had short hair when I was very small, like something like 3 or 4, and then I started ballet. I wanted to have long hair. That's part of my girl identity, personality, and perhaps that's also why now.
No, you have short hair dyed in a rainbow.
Yes. But yeah, there wasn't much, apart from perhaps the polyamorous side, which was really present even when I was 10 or something, and crushing on that guy at the dance class and he's so cute, but also that guy in my class at school, and also that guy I met on holidays, and well, at that time it was mostly guys. Only guys. But I think I had something for 1 or 2 girls too, but I just didn't realize it. It wasn't strong enough for me to think, wait, what's that? Is she really just a friend?
Yeah, and you don't expect it, so you don't really look for these
Yeah.
feelings, I guess. because you're like, no one tells you that's like an option, so you don't really look for them.
Exactly. You go first.
I don't know. I have a terrible memory. I must have been like maybe early high school, or just before high school. And yeah, that's for like sexuality stuff, because gender was like end of high school or beginning university, so 18, 19. How old are you when I only know classes, I don't know age. What's so yeah, I don't know, like around between 14 and 16 for sexuality stuff, and then like later gender stuff.
Well, sexuality stuff, orientation stuff started, I was, I think, 14, end of secondary school anyway, and I had a crush on a friend, and that's the moment when I realized. But at first I didn't even think, oh, I'm bisexual. It was like, I have a crush on that person, and it was later that I thought, wait, what, me? A girl? What the fuck? What am I? Oh well. And I guess I was too preoccupied by other stuff happening in my life to just have the energy to bother about, oh my god, I'm not straight. And gender stuff happened way later. I think I must have been 20 when I first thought that sometimes the way people see me doesn't correspond to the way I feel, and I feel in a certain way vexed that they see me as female.
Me was like that best friend, like we were in bed, I was sleeping over to hers, and I just cried a lot. Basically, it's not a very interesting story. I was like, I'm always freaking crying anyway. But yeah, I was like, oh, I think I might be bi. And she was like, cool.
I think for orientation stuff, it was my best friend, whom I'd known for something like, we were 13, 14, so 10 years. And in fact, I didn't say something like, I'm bi or something. It was just, I think I have a crush or I'm in love with that girl. And obviously it meant that. I couldn't exactly be straight, but it wasn't framed in the way, okay,
Right.
you have to know
This,
I'm bi. And gender stuff,
was
probably someone in the clique.
Yeah, we just all started being
Gay.
more queer than we were before. I love telling the story. I think everyone's already heard it, but I came out to my mom in a very theatrical way, as like Pan, I think. So at the Christmas dinner of 2012, I got very drunk on champagne, and we went home, and we walked the dog, and I like was lying on the street speaking English to her, and she doesn't speak a fucking word of English. And then we went home, and I showed her the Wikipedia page, and then went the fuck to sleep. And then like in the morning, she brought me like a muffin. Like, yeah.
Here's your gay muffin.
That's it, yeah. And then we never spoke of it again.
Yeah, my parents is kind of awkward because I can't do very theatrical things with my parents. I just told them at one point that, yeah, girls, perhaps, I mean, not being straight is a thing.
Did you know?
But I don't think it really...
They don't really associate it with that.
Yeah.
You being that.
I think my mum more or less told me at one point that, yeah, it happens to some people, to a lot of people. Most people are bi when they're teenagers and then it ends. And for gender stuff, I more or less at one point thought I'd try. But then again, perhaps not. and I was in the car with my parents, and my father, who loves talking about things that he's read here or there, asked me, "Do you know the cisgender?" And I was like,
I've heard of them.
yeah, I do. And he answered, "It's us." I replied very, very low, "Yes, it's you." And that was the most closest thing to coming out that I ever did. I've never read a book. As I said, I've very little LGBT culture, so
I'll do the
you do
culture.
it.
Okay, but I love the Ash and Huntress series by Medina Lowe. It's a retelling of a few fairy tales, but it's also lesbians, which is... Have you seen a movie?
I've seen Pride.
The greatest movie of all time. I think it's up there as my favorite. I love Pride. And another gay movie that I love is But I'm a Cheerleader.
I have no idea. Have I even watched a TV show?
Does anime have gays?
I have watched 1 or 2 gay animes. So one thing I like, I don't remember the name of the characters, but it's a sort of retelling of Romeo and Juliet in more or less...
Of course it is.
And it's called Fuyunosemi, which means cicadas in winter or something like that.
Jack Harkness from Torchwood, that was like my first gay character, and Nomi from Sense8. Love her very much, and she's like so cool.
Not exactly one song, but a certain number of songs written by one person. She's a trans girl, woman, and she's part of the band Steam Paragraph. Her name's Isabella or Bunny. And so she's really cool.
I need to listen to this. I think I've been telling you that for like 3 years. My fave is Laura Jane Grace. She's the front woman of the band Against Me. And my favorite song from that is True Trans Soul Rebel, which is truly a hymn.
So my first Pride was that 2 years ago? And
Was I here? Yes, I was here.
it wasn't like, for some people it's an extraordinary event. For me it wasn't that.
You didn't have a
extraordinary.
revelation.
It was like, it's walking, and it was cool,
Cool march.
but that's it.
My first Pride, I think I was gonna go with high school friends, and everyone bailed on me, and I was complaining to a guy that I'd met in like English summer camp or something, and he was like, "Well, I'm going, and so you should come with me." And he was like this really punk guy, like really extroverted compared to me, like baby gay. But yeah, it was like really fun. I was really glad I was going, and like internally being like, "Oh, I think I am really gay." But yeah. You're lucky I have almost no memory left because I'm not gonna go on a rant. I think it's great that we have it. I think it's bad that it's like considered the end-all issue of LGBT people. And well, you already have marriage. What more do you want? So it's cool, but it's not that great.
I more or less agree.
The jokes. Love the jokes. Love a gay joke. Like, I bet people get me when I am being gay. They gate me.
I think that's a cool thing too. I guess it would be the fact of having to come out to people. Like, having to tell people over and over again each time you meet someone. Well, if you want to tell them, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people just assume.
it takes a lot of energy.
Mine would be like, yeah, people being shitty. And
yeah, that's...
like also people being jerks inside the community. Like, well, obviously like racists and transphobes. Fuck off. I know there's a lot of us, so we can't all agree with each other, but like, why would you go out of your way to be shitty to someone in your community? Don't do that! Oh, I shouldn't have ended the questions on your least favorite thing. That's really sad. Bye.
Yeah.